Here we are. So, welcome. It feels distinctly autumnish, and I think, as you say, Kate, we've definitely got some weather coming our way. Hopefully, it's not going to be too disruptive this weekend. But yeah, it kind of feels as though it's on the turn, as we might say. So yeah, do look after yourselves. Let us get started, seated or standing. You know the rules. I'm going to think I'll start standing up. Okay. Oh, excuse me while I let Richard in. Just bear with me. Let's make sure he's safely in. Yeah. Hi, Richard. Good to have you with us. We're just getting started.
Hi there, sorry to be late.
No, not to worry. It's okay. Okay. So I'm going to get started with some movements from Shibashi, just to get us moving. Nice, easy, symmetrical movements. We'll start off doing some lifts of the hands and arms. Chisha, very familiar movement, sets the scene, gives us an opportunity to perhaps take a breath or two in coordination with that lift and fall. So just do that. Just kind of give yourself, quite literally, a little bit of breathing space. We'll not linger too long on this movement. We'll open it out into opening hearts, which gives us more scope for a bigger breath in as it opens the rib cage, and then we close. And that could be an ideal time for an out breath again. Lots of different ways to do this. Simply focus on the movement if you would prefer. Or just occasionally have a focus on the breath every now and then. Do this one more time. I'm going to work in doubles. Pair of exercises. Okay, so now we can, in our own way, just have a little bit of a move and a shake, whether we're seated or standing. Take a breath, and then we're going to come to a rest and settle. We're taking hands and arms up overhead. That will mean different things for different people as we do so. So go as far as you feel comfortable. And then I'm going to take my hands and just tilt a little bit to the left. And then I'm going to lift back up and tilt to the right. And each time I tilt, I'm looking in the direction of the tilt. Left for left, right for right. Don't need to make it a big stretch. You can probably feel muscles in the side of the trunk or the torso having to do their thing to support you. So again, unlike yoga, we're not looking for a stretch as such. We're looking to move within a reasonable range of motion. That's where we get some of that strength building aspects that I found within the research when we look at Tai Chi and Qigong movements. Okay, begin to get achy arms though, don't we? So let's let the hands and arms rest and lower. Just have a little shake out. And then we'll move into parting clouds. But I'm going to join people who are seated for this one. Bring my seat into play. Make sure hands were crossing. Hands in front, one in front of the other. We get to shoulders and then we turn the palms forward. Then we open up. fingers, hands drop down, and then we bring them round. Cross the opposite hand over the shoulders. Turn the hands. It's called a flower. And then bring them down. Let me turn a little bit just to give a different angle. There we go. Crossing. Lifting up. And down. Could be a breath in as we do this lift, if that feels right for you. And we're leading with the little finger edge on the down. So as we bring the hands down, it's the little finger edge that we want to lead with. In traditional Chinese medicine, the little finger edge is associated with the heart and also the small intestine. We have these pairs of organs or viscera in Chinese medicine. So in this case, the little finger edge is associated with the heart and small intestine. That might just be interesting. Okay, and again, have a little shake of the hands and arms. Move in your seat from side to side if that's possible, or just move the head if you're standing up. Some weight shift. And rowing the boat comes next, making circles with each hand. We start off small. It's as if we push back through the water, lift the hands clear, bring them forwards, and then once again we row ourselves. So if we were sat in a boat, we'd be facing the direction of travel rather than sitting backwards. Again, this is a movement where you need to do you. Work within a range that suits your shoulders. But we're aiming to make our circles gradually larger and larger until perhaps for some of us we're making very big circles indeed. The hands may well be going overhead and it begins to feel like a butterfly swimming stroke. Up we come. Pushing down. I'm going to do one more rotation. And finish there. Good job. Okay. Let's have a little bit of rotation. So we're going to do wise owl. So turning to the right, first of all, lifting the hands. Just palm up a little bit, not too much. Coming back and then turning to the left. Good rotation. Head, neck, spine. If we're seated, then we really feel that through the waist and the shoulders. If we're stood up, you'll be bringing the hips and the pelvis into play as well to facilitate that turn. Okay, have a little rest. We turn that movement into pushing palms, or in Yang style Tai Chi, it's called repulse monkey. So we're going to make our turn into wise owl, lift our palms, but then instead of just dropping them back, we're going to push the backhand through. If you're not quite sure, have a little watch as I do the first two, but I'm turning to the right, looking to that right hand, and now I push it through. So instead of dropping the hands, I just push. And then I begin to look to the left as that hand goes out. I end up with outstretched arms, and now I push the left hand through. And a good analogy is that you are pushing through water, or gentle resistance. That hopefully gives you the right sort of feel for us pushing that palm through, and we rotate as we do so. Should almost feel like both hands are connected or are pulling against elastic. That might be another way to get a feel for this. And we push, and it makes us work a little bit harder, or even quite a bit harder, as we go from one side to the other. In fact, I'm going to do one more, and then we can rest, pushing palms. Good stuff. Once again, have a little shake. Okay, I'm going to leave my seat, rejoin people who are standing. More rotation, this time casting our cares away. Give me a wave with your right hand, okay? That hand holds a ball, and we're going to cast it away off to the left, so across the body. And then pick up the left hand, it has a ball, and we cast it away off to the right. So we get some rotation, we get a stretch as we go from one side to the other, casting our cares away. Or some people like to think of throwing a ball off to each side, but try to keep the hand and arm nice and long as we do that throw or cast. If you're standing up with me, you can get some weight shift. In fact, you can do the same if you are sat down. Bring some weight onto the corresponding hip that you intend to throw towards. Left for left and right for right. Good movement. There you go. I'm going to do one more on each side. Don't worry if we're in sync. Just bring everything to a rest. Okay, next movement is gazing at the moon. If anyone's been lucky enough, we've had a moon that's been incredibly close to the Earth, which means that it appears larger in the skies, and you may have been blessed with some clear skies over this last few days, so let me know at the end if you were lucky enough to get outside and see a rather large full moon. We're going to imagine that moon is up above, slightly behind us, and we're going to be sweeping our hands up to gaze at that moon. We're going to go to the right first. So it's a big spiral up from our seat or feet, looking up and behind, and then we drop the hands down and we do the same on the left. Big movement demands a lot from us, whether we're seated or standing, in terms of trunk stability. If we're standing up, then it's a balance challenge to maintain stability, particularly on prosthetic limbs, but in some respects, a little bit of challenge is good, if just enough. So sweep from one side and then to the other. I'm going to do one more. Don't worry again. Which side you're on. Come back. Fab. Good job. So there we go. First 9 movements of the Shibashi set 1 sequences. Might do the next set of 9 next week. But I'm aware of time, and I'm aware that we've begun to explore a Tai Chi form, Yang style Tai Chi. I'm going to sit down and began to get some opening movements of Qi Shi and part the wild horse's mane, this brushing movement, and moving into this white crane spreads its wings movement. Shall we have a go? Follow along if you've not been with us for a week or two. Don't worry. The good thing about Tai Chi is nothing bad happens. So if things go awry, it's okay. It's not like we're playing rugby or some kind of contact sport where, yeah, something is going to go awry. So let's get started. First two sequences. First sequence, opening sequence, Qi Shi, and then we'll do our brushing movement or part the wild horse's mane. So again, seated or standing, if we can, we want to have this sense of being balanced, supported, a sense of growth or upwardness. They have these words in Chinese that literally just mean this kind of sense of upwardness, and it can also mean have a moral value, as in terms of being upright and truthful and honest. So, but it's all captured in one single little character, but has multi kind of levels of meaning. So try and have all of that in mind as we get started. We'll do Qi Shi just once. If we're seated, hands can start from the knees if you wish, or from the sides. But we're just going to lift. And the trick is to slow things down so you get some breathing space. Just think about what comes next. I'm going to drop my hands to the sides. If you've got the room to do that, please do. And we catch a beach ball. And the thing to remember is the right hand lands on top. That tells me to turn a little bit to the right. And now those two brushes appear, and I brush the top hand back and the bottom hand forward. So this is my left hand, there's my right hand, and I've brushed the hands through the long horse's mane. And then I simply turn my hands and catch a second beach ball. Only now it's the left hand on top. And we brush once more. Here's my right hand coming forward, left hand down. Once again, we turn the hands and we catch a third beach ball. Back to that right hand on top. And we brush hands in opposite directions, forwards and back. Again, if I was to turn to the side, there you go, there's my right hand on a table, and here's my left hand. Think of it as a gesture in terms of offering something. That's a good way to think about it. We're going to get a fourth beach ball, left hand on top, and this is where we extend into white crane. So the right hand comes up on the outside, and then it begins to lift, and as we do so, the left hand drops, and we end up in this position. First position, I like to call it, or ta-da, because it's kind of like ta-da. And then we're just going to let the hands rest and come back to where they started, because that's probably quite a bit. Okay, shall we have another go again? Quite tricky teaching this on video, but we've had some good success in some other areas as well. So let's have another go. Ready? Steady. Qi Shi. Could be a breath in. And then think of catching that beach ball. And we end up with a right hand on top. That's the thing to kind of get in mind, because once we've got that, it gives us our direction to turn to the right. And then it's these alternate brushing movements. First of all, left hand forward, right hand down. Here comes our second beach ball. Brush. This time, left hand down, right hand forward. Third beach ball. Back to that right hand on top. And brush. 4th beach ball. Just pause there, just kind of go, okay. Done a lot of catching of beach balls, brushing through wild horses' manes. Have I got my left hand on top? Yes, I have. We're good to go. So then we can lift the right hand up and the left hand, or wing, if we think of these limbs as wings, we're kind of spreading our wings, hence the name. And then we can just rest. Good job. Okay, I'm going to do a turn because I know it can sometimes be a little bit confusing when I face the camera and I'm talking about left and right, and oh, it can all get very complex. So I'm going to just turn in my seat, give you my right arm, and it means that for the most part you're going to be able to see my hands and arms, but it kind of gives you a sense of being able to follow along. That's the idea anyway. Let's give it a go. So once again, from the top, 3, 2, 1, 起身. First beach ball. Just seem to lodge in your memory banks that it's right hand on top. Then a turn. And here's my first brushing movement through part the wild horse's mane. And then we turn the hands, catch the beach ball, left hand on top, and then brush. This time, right hand forward, left hand back. Third beach ball, right hand on top, brush. Fourth beach ball, check that the left hand is on top, just in case. And then we can go for our white crane movement. Okay, hold there, okay? I'm going to just turn my torso and head to the left, excuse me. Gets the hands in motion. The left hand is folding back, the right hand folds in front, and then they just keep going in those respective orbits. Trust your hands to kind of arrive on the right side with this gesture off to the side. You can't see my left hand, can you? There it is. So they're gesturing off to my right. Just there. Well done, guys. That's a tricky one, to get those hands in orbit, so to speak, and then trust them to do their circles and land in place on this right side. It's sometimes useful just to know, okay, that's where I'm heading. You know that sometimes you just need to know where your destination is, and then you can get your route there sorted one way or another, sat nav or not. So that's where we're finishing. So let's just have a little focus on that. So left hand on top, hold the ball, okay? Let me face the camera for this first go. So we're going to do our lift into that first position into white crane. Right hand up, left hand down, all wing, okay? So I'm turning to the left and then I stop, but it's as if the hands then just keep going. And we just let them make their orbits, and I begin to turn to the right. I'm letting my hands do their thing, and with any luck, we end up there. I like to think of it sometimes as a waiter's position, where I'm holding a tray off on the right. And in other contexts, we think of it as a custard pie. So I'll let you go with whichever resonates with you, custard pie or just a tray. That looked good to me, seemed okay. Let's do that with me at this alternate angle. So here again, this is my right side that you've got to view on a kind of 3/4 view. We're going to do that fourth beach ball, which has the left hand on top, if you remember. And then we're lifting into that first position. And then we just turn the torso and head a little bit to the left, and then we stop. But as we do so, the hands stay in motion. And then I begin to turn to the right as the hands arrive in that position of tray or custard pie. Good job, we're there. Okay, it seems amiss not to deliver our tray or custard pie, doesn't it? So shall we do that? Once again, I'll do it facing the camera, and then I'll do it with a turn. So if we're thinking custard pie, we are literally going to deliver our custard pie into a customer's face. These, I should add, are strictly not necessarily Tai Chi cues, but they seem to resonate with most people. So, okay, so we're delivering, it's more tis was, if I've got the correct audience. Yeah, tis was. Okay, so hold the ball, left hand on top. So we're just doing this white crane into brush knee, which is the next sequence. So here we go. Hopefully you're beginning to get a sense of finding first position, spread those wings basically. And then just get a rotation to the left going, stop. But then it's as if hands just continue the motion of two separate orbits and they arrive on the right side. Now, brush knee is quite simple. We turn, look forwards, and I simply drop the left hand just to hover above my left knee. There it is. Still got my custard pie. I drop my elbow, in comes the hand, and then I turn the hand and push it forward like pushing a door to deliver my custard pie. If I turn to the side, I've pushed my custard pie forwards. And here's my brushing knee hand that's just above the knee. There we go. That sets us up for the next sequence next week for brush knee. Okay, let me do that on this opposite angle. Okay, so hold the ball, left hand on top, into first position of white crane, spreads its wings. We get the hands in motion by making this rotation. And then we stop, but the hands continue. And then we begin to turn to the right and we await the hands to arrive. And it's as if we catch a custard pie. And now I look forward. There's my customer. I'm going to drop the left hand, drop the right elbow, and then push my custard pie satisfactorily into that customer. Can't think what on earth they've done to annoy me, but it always feels somewhat satisfying to do that. Kersplat. But that gets us into brush knee, and we're in a bit more safer territory once we get there. White crane is probably one of the more tricky movements that we've got in this first opening set of sequences. So if you can get that idea of rotation and trusting your hands to arrive on the right side, you're doing jolly well. Okay, I need to be aware of the time. We're beginning to run over. So I hope that's been useful. We've done shibashi, first 9 movements, get ourselves moving. Very useful, very upper body centric, which can be very useful for us. And then we've dug into our first opening sequences of the Yang style Tai Chi form. So let's bring things to a close. I'll stay seated. So let's just bring things quite literally to a close. We'll just do small lift and fold and just let the hands fall away like so. Again, if it feels right for you, it could be a breath in. Or you just focus on that intent of just bringing everything that we've done back and packing away, so to speak. On this last one, we're going to link our thumbs and we just let the hands come to rest. If you sat down with me right in the lap, so to speak, and if you stood up on that lower part of the abdomen, and then 30 seconds, rest your eyes, take a breath, and maybe just have a focus on that in and out of your breath. If you're in a particularly quiet environment, you may even tune into the heartbeat that's there as well. And just, yeah, sit and rest. Very good, folks. Part the hands. That's our cue to bring things to a close. Thank you for joining me. If people are watching later, well, I know you are. I hope that's been enjoyable also. I'm going to stop the recording. You can always get in touch on the WhatsApp group with questions or comments. And I will be here